Hey kids, welcome to Grade 9 Remote Learning Science. We are starting here on the class website. This is the Brightspace or D2L website. And I just want to show you a few things about it, and we'll go over our introductory sheet, and I'll tell you about everything to expect in this course. So the landing page here, our home page, shows us what I like to call the daily news. It's just a list of everything we do. It's got some files on it that might be homework, or it might be answers to things, or there might be some videos, or there might be some textbook readings. This is going to be our first day of our course, and I think what we'll do is we'll start off by clicking on the course info sheet here. So it's going to open as a Word file down here. So generally the Word files we're going to use are going to be either Word or PowerPoint. So let's click on this file and we're going to open it up. So this is our student's course information sheet. This is grade 9 applied, and there is the course code, and that's my name. I am the teacher. There's a quick class description, but we might as well just jump into it. We've got 4 units that we are going to cover. We're generally going to spend about 9 to 10 days on each unit. There'll be a number of small quizzes throughout the unit, but no unit test. Really, we're kind of short on time for this remote learning, so we won't be having a final unit test. So the units we're going to look at in no particular order is, we're going to look at the biology unit, and this is all about food chains and food webs and how animals and plants interact. We're also going to look at the chemistry unit. This is really kind of an introduction. It's going to talk about elements and compounds and physical and chemical changes. We're going to get into the periodic table. We're going to look at some atoms, electrons, protons, and neutrons, and some reactions as well. The Earth and Space unit, or the space unit, generally it's all about firstly looking at our solar system and then looking at the universe around us. And as well too, we've got a physics unit here, which is all about electricity and renewable and non-renewable energy sources. So those are the 4 units. So let's go down and look at our expectations here for this class. Number 1, students are expected to complete all work assigned. Failure to complete work will result in a significantly lower mark than students expect to achieve. And what I mean by this is I will be teaching a short lesson, there will be some worksheets, and generally there'll be some, often I should say, there'll be quizzes following to just reinforce that we've done our work and we've learned. And it's important to stay on top of these things. Don't let a whole bunch of these quizzes build up and try to do them all at once. Just try to do it daily, and I think you'll probably achieve the best success doing that. Number 2, students are expected to attend regularly. A Microsoft Teams meeting will be held daily to go over the day's material. Failure to attend will result in gaps in knowledge that will cause students to achieve at a lower than expected level. So the daily meetings, what I'll do is I expect kids to at least log into these meetings perhaps a minute or 2 early before the designated start time, and I like to start promptly. What we'll do at that point is you guys will grab some paper, and I'll go over a short lesson teaching everything we need to know for today's stuff, and you'll write it down for future reference. There will be an exam at the end of the course, and then you'll be expected to go ahead and do whatever work I assign. So there might be some worksheets, answers will be provided, we'll take them up, and maybe a quiz as well. And even too, there could be some readings for the next day to do. Number 3, students are encouraged to bring devices to class for school usage. Of course, this is an online class, so the expectation is we hopefully already have some kind of device. I don't care what you use, whether it's a computer, a laptop, a desktop, something like that. And then in terms of maybe if you need a calculator or something, obviously you can use your phone or Google or whatever works best. So whatever technology you've got, whatever works for you, that's what I want you to use to be successful here. Students are expected to complete all experiments and lab write-ups. Even if a student is absent, each pupil is expected to complete a write-up by obtaining results from other students. If we do have some kind of experiment, I will be posting results if needed. And lastly, students are expected to conduct themselves in a mature manner. This includes respecting teachers and other students and visitors to the online class. Okay, so let's take a look at the technology we'll be using in this course. So firstly, we've got the D2L, or the Brightspace. That's where I started. Here is your username and password directions. Hopefully you've already used this site in the past. Let's jump back to it, and we'll do a little tour of what we're going to need to be using on here. So like I said, right when you go onto the home page here, it's going to list by date what we did, and so hopefully that makes it easy to follow. We've got some lessons on here, some PowerPoints or something. But the expectation is that I will be posting a video of our daily lesson on here at some point. Obviously, I can't do it beforehand, but sometimes like here, I do have a video that if you did miss, you could potentially watch that. I may even get us to watch these things in class during the lecture. I figure I'll probably just send a link along and you can watch it. I'll give you a couple of minutes and then we'll come back and continue our lesson. There are some readings on here as well. I'll click on this one here. Again, when it comes to readings, we may do this in class. Perhaps I'll assign this to you ahead of time, or maybe just give you some time to go over and read these things. And generally, they're not very long. This is a whole 2 pages long. So that seems pretty reasonable. In terms of tabs here, again, everything's on the home page here. We've got a couple we're going to use. Assignments is where we'll upload things, and we may or may not be using that one, but the More tab is going to be important to us. So let's click on More here. And quizzes and grades are really the two things we're going to use. Let's look at quizzes first. So often when it comes to quizzes, I'll post them on the home page, but if I forget, and that does happen, you can always click here and you'll have a list of quizzes that you're expected to complete. So here's an introductory practice quiz. I've given you an unlimited number of attempts. Generally, I'll give 1 or 2 attempts. Most often, I'll give 2 attempts on a quiz. When you complete the quiz and submit it, it'll tell you which ones you got right and wrong. It'll show you the right answers. And of course, the expectation is that you then redo the quiz. It might not be exactly the same. There might be some variation on the questions, but hopefully you've done some learning from your first attempt and showing improvement the second attempt. I take the higher of the 2 attempts. So even if you say you got an 8 out of 10 on the first attempt, you might as well just do the second attempt. Try to get better on it. If you do worse, it's not going to count. So, it's again, I'm hoping that, that'll lead to better success for things. So there's our quizzes. There's really not much more to say about it. If I click More and go to Grades, this is where your most up-to-date grade is going to be. In fact, when we complete a quiz, immediately it's going to appear in here. And so here's our very first quiz coming up later in the week, and it's at a 20. And then if done properly, right at the top, it's missing here because we don't have any marks yet, but right at the top, your overall grade will appear. So it's going to average everything together and put your overall grade on here. And so really that's about all we're going to need out of this website is going to be the More tab with the quizzes and the grades, and then of course everything that appears on the course home here, or the news page as I like to call it. So let's go back to our document. So I guess I just covered this. This site will be used for content, quizzes, and grades. One thing that's missing here is attendance. So the D2L website logs records when you log in, and that is how I will be recording attendance. It's fine for you to come to the meeting in the morning, but generally I prefer that everybody check in at some point, because that's where our work is. Like going to the Brightspace D2L site daily tells me that you're doing the work. You're at least looking up the stuff. When it comes to attendance, I know some people can't make the lessons for one reason or another. So my expectation is that you go on later in the day or even earlier in the day and look over the material yourself. It's your responsibility if you miss to catch up daily. And that's why I take attendance at night. 8 or 9 o'clock at night, I'll come on here and I'll look at this Brightspace. It'll tell me who's been on the website, and then that's how I will be recording the attendance. Okay, number 2, EDSB. All I'm going to be using EDSB for is keeping in touch with you. So if you've got a question, you can email me on EDSB, or I'll be emailing your parents or phoning or something like that. I know the grades are usually updated on EDSB. The problem is that it's not the most up-to-date mark. There may be a mark on EDSB, but really the one back here on Brightspace, this is the one where it's most accurate and up-to-date. I do have to transfer the marks over to EDSB, but if somebody hasn't done a quiz, then I can't give them a mark, and then they do it later, and then I didn't record it. And so, again, this won't be our most accurate mark update here. So really, EDSB is just for... as well, too, I won't be posting content on EDSB. Maybe the odd message on there, but again, all your content is on the D2L website. And thirdly is our Teams meeting here. Hopefully you've seen the link, and you can get into these meetings. And yeah, so in terms of work evaluation here, we've got term work at 70%, and this is going to be made up of our quizzes. They're going to be weighted out of 1, and like I said, there's going to be quizzes either daily or every other day on our content. And additionally to any labs and assignments that we happen to do are weighted at 1.5. But mostly for us, I think I'm going to be focusing on the quizzes. At the end, we're going to have an exam worth 30%. This is why I suggest that you take notes down, print things off, you keep everything together for our exam coming up at the end of January for this course. So that should about take care of it. So let's get down to work.